Now we are joined by Femi Onakanren, a political analyst, to discuss this issue of Independence Day. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. Okay, all right. So in Nigeria right now, as we are celebrating Independence Day, there is call for restructuring. Has there been a key issue in the country? In your opinion, do you think restructuring is really what we need as a nation at this time?
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I think the subject of restructuring is an overflowed diversionary issue. It does not really add much to the bottom line of the progress of the country that we all desire. I do not see how it portends any good. Currently, the National Assembly is working on several bills to reduce exposure of the central government, which was what was, previously in place in the country. And it is my honest opinion that with some of the landmark reforms we've had to the Constitution, we talk about the PIA, we talk about the Freedom of Information Bill, the LG autonomy that was recently pushed through. Their changes will happen over time, and it is a process. There is no magic touch that restructuring is going to do, because you will still need collaboration between state actors at each point in time. And I don't see the value in that. It's like trying to recreate the wheel when you have something that is functional already. Why not improve the efficiency of what you have, right? And delete some stuff from the exclusive list, if that is the issue, and then have a devolution of power and empowerment of constituted authorities across channels.
Okay, all right. So a lot of brilliant minds identified that perhaps what plagues us in this country is our constitution. And we know that the Ninth Assembly, that was the past assembly, they tried to make some reforms of the constitution, some adjustment. But from your own opinion, how can Nigeria's constitution better address key issues in the country?
One thing that we need to understand is that there's no silver bullet, and I think that's one of the problems we have as a nation. We keep expecting a silver bullet. Progress is iterative. Development takes time. You will learn, you make mistakes, you review, you analyze what you've done, and then you start again and push forward. America is one of the biggest democracies in the world, and their constitution is subject to amendments several times. And when they see key issues that affect the life of people, they amend that section of the Constitution to reflect the will of the people. Now, what people are talking about regarding an overhaul of the entire constitutional framework that we operate right now is just an exercise in futility, because how do you create a referendum to address all the issues, especially with our current political climate? So I would think that, the Constitution can be better. There are areas that require improvement. Let the NAS and state houses of assembly, work on those things, and then we can have a more improved document that reflects what we want. And if it is regarding the concurrent and exclusive list, which is often used as the excuse to, of the inability of the Constitution on some issues, then amendments can be made along the line as well. I don't think, we're doing too badly. The previous assembly did very well. They passed a couple of key, reform bills. And this has been an ongoing process from 1999 that we started the Fourth Republic. So I think, yes, the Constitution can be improved on, but it is not as bad as it is being portrayed. What we should be looking for is how to enforce the positions of the Constitution, get clarity and enforce. That is when we would realize that our current Constitution can actually work for us, right? And we can make changes as it were down the road.
Okay, all right. So the Nigerian youth, once again, are set to step out tomorrow to protest against bad governance. Do you think it's necessary at this time, or do you think perhaps they need to exercise more patience to let the seed sown by the present president yield result?
One thing I should first establish that, protest is a right. You can call for a protest, you can make demands of government. The government actually is supposed to serve the people. That's the way the structure works. Um, so I do not have an issue with the youth wanting to go on protest. They are free to hear their grievances as long as it is done within the ambit of the law. Um, Subsequent hijack of such a thing makes very much the objective of what they're trying to push. It becomes a politically motivated agenda, and that is distracting for all of us because that's not what what we want to spend our Independence Day on. Regarding the end to bad governance calls from the youth, I think it is they're well in line and should do same if they feel so aggrieved. They should also be clear in what they want from the government. You can't say have a carpet statement like end bad governance. End bad governance in what? Mention key areas that you require adjustment, just like we talked about in the Constitution, right? Mention key areas and where you want, the government to apply more effort, where you want to see the result of democracy, being realized. Not just a blanket government that looks like a government takeover exercise in disguise, and that just, brings this harmony to the country and upsets the cat. I feel that the youth stakeholders. Some programs have been designed for them. I believe that calls should be made from their part regarding, okay, so create more visibility for this program, like the National Youth Investment Fund that was just recently, passed along into effect. Create awareness about this thing. I think that's one of the things that the government also need to talk about. A number of the initiatives that they are pushing, most people are not aware of them. The social media is awash with more silly news, right? Distracting news, as against useful information that could actually benefit the life of the youth, which is why they are, agitating. So I think the federal government and all level of executive governance in the country need to push out this thing and make people more aware. Let us really harness what the issue is. One party is saying I'm doing a lot, the other party is saying I'm not saying enough. There must be a nexus, a meeting point. A protest should not be violent. It should be an expression as a stakeholder that wants collective progress, for the nation. So I don't have any problem with any campaign or protest, regarding the desires of the citizens from the leadership. But I believe it should be done in an orderly manner, and it should be clear in terms of what you want to achieve and how you're going to hold the other party accountable to meeting their own end as you keep yours as well.
Okay, all right. We really thank you for sharing with us from the wealth of your experience. Thank you so much for being with us on Galaxy TV News.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Happy Independence Day in advance.
Oh, thank you so much. Wishing you the same.